What's good, everybody? I wanted to talk about what I think is the most important thing about selling a house and my $80,000 lesson. We're just going to go right into it. I'm going to share a screen. This is a home that I flipped not too long ago, about 2 months ago in February. I sold it for $550,000 in the Germantown area. And this is actually a really cool story because it has a lot of ups and it has a lot of downs. Um, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned on this particular home. So, yeah, we'll just dive right on in. So I had a contractor that started the job, and a lot of the work that he did wasn't as good as I would like it to be. And I, I was really used to using this particular contractor for a lot of rental rehabs. And one of the things that I realized was that there is a big difference between contractors who do a lot of rental rehabs versus flips. So some of the finishes weren't, I mean, you guys can take a look at these pictures. Some of these finishes weren't as good as I would like them to be. And I'm sure most of you guys would say the same thing. So luckily, I actually had this house under contract. It was off market. Uh, so this is where it goes down and then goes back up, right? So it goes up because I initially had a contract for the purchase of the sale from a buyer who walked by the house, and we went under contract for $468,000. So apart from some of these finishes not being all that good, right? I still managed to somehow get the house under contract. All right. Now, upon inspections, she did find a couple of things that eventually she just didn't feel comfortable moving forward. So that was kind of one of those things where I had to decide what I wanted to do. And the hard part for me was I was pinching pennies, trying to make budget this whole time. So a lot of money went into this particular deal. And it came to a certain point where I had to decide if I was going to try to find another off-market buyer or if I was going to list it on the MLS, which would go on Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, all those websites, all those real estate pages. So before I decided to do that, I double checked what other homes were selling for. And that's actually the most important thing. So that is answering the biggest question, right? What's the biggest thing you think of when selling your house? It's not what you think the house is worth, right? I'm going to say this again. It's not what you think the house is worth. It's what the market says it's worth, right? So there's a neighboring house on 46 East Johnson Street. This particular realtor, I'm a big fan of. Her name is Rachel Street. She's also a builder and she's on HGTV. Like, her finishes are very amazing. Okay. She tries to preserve a lot of the home in her renovations. And you can obviously tell that a lot of the work is done very, very well, right? You don't see these kinds of finishes, right? The other thing that you might have noticed is that these homes that I'm looking at are staged, or at least semi-staged, all right? Another example is 77 West Johnson Street. Literally, it's 4 houses or 5 houses to the left of mine. Mine's on 61. Again, it is staged. The finishes look great, right? So what did I have to do? right? I looked at what other markets were doing and what other homes, neighboring homes, what my competitors were doing, right? So I decided to double down. Instead of selling the home like this, right, I decided to hire another contractor. Okay. The other contractor redid all of the finishes. In fact, I believe I spent like another $15,000 to $20,000 to do the extra renovations that I thought were needed. Okay. In that budget, in that $20,000, I also had to do some staging, right? So staging is when you put furniture in the home and you put decor and you make it look like a home that's not completely empty like this. Okay. So my intention, knowing what my competitors were selling their homes for, my first initial thought was, well, 77 West Johnson Street is the closest thing that I can probably get to, because this particular home is, I mean, I would even be lucky to get it at 400. I listed at 499, so I listed at $499,000. I would be even lucky to get it at this price because 77 Johnson Street actually had a driveway and it had a second lot. So I was thinking, man, I would be lucky and I'd be pushing to try to get it at this price at 498 or even 499. But I listed it at that price anyway because I needed it at that price. Like I was going to lose money if I didn't. And then this home right here, Rachel's home, I mean, there was no way that I was thinking that I could even match the the price of how she had listed it and sold for. So I didn't even think I was going to get it at 540, where she sold it at. So I listed it as best as I could at 499 and I staged it. Okay. I staged it. And the outcome, what ended up happening was, going back to what I was saying, it's not what you think, it's what other people think of the homes and what other people are actually buying them for, right? They were all buying them for around this price, anything between 5 to 540. And because of that mindset shifting, I really had to step it up. I really had to provide the same kind of home as what the other competing homes were offering. And when I decided to do that, well, at that point I sold it for $550,000.